Hello, this is Mr. Bowl, and I'm going to go over an introduction for happy analysis for primary and secondary source documents to help guide you in this through your history and government classes. So why are we doing this? Have you ever read through a document or a passage and at the end you realize you have no idea what you just read? Of course, we have all done this. So to help prevent this in the future and be more efficient with our time, we're going to learn a valuable analysis trick that you can use for any kind of document in class. So get ready. This is going to be super helpful. First, happy analysis. Happy is an acronym to help you remember what to do before you begin reading a document. The H stands for the historical context. A stands for audience. One of the P's stands for point of view of the author, and the other P stands for the purpose of the document. And finally, the Y means why do we care? Why is my teacher giving me this document to read? Why is it worth analyzing? So let's go into this in depth. The H for historical context means time and place. I want you to put yourself in a time machine. I want you to think about what life was like at the time that this document was written. What was the year? What do I know about that time in history? Is it the colonial era? Is it the Civil War era? Is it common time? Is it written within my lifetime? And how does that change the context of what I am reading? So think about that. Put yourself in the time machine and what is life like at the time, but also the place. Is this written in the United States? Is this written in England, in France, in somewhere else in the world? If it's written in the United States, is it written in Wisconsin? Is it written in New Jersey? How does the time and the place affect the context of the document? So that's an easy thing to find in the byline. Find out the year that the document was written and think about what that means for the document. So that's H. Then A, the audience. Think about who the intended audience is for the document. Who's meant to be reading it? Who's meant to be listening to it? Does that affect what the language of the document is? The point of view. This means the author. Who wrote it? What do I know about the author? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it a famous person? Is it a primary source, a famous person in history? Is it nobody that I'm aware of, and yet it is a primary source that gives me some insight to what life was like at a time and place? Is the author biased in some way? Do they belong to a certain political party, and is that going to change their point of view? I'm thinking about all of these things about the author. I can find the author in the byline, should be in the top of the paper or the document, or in the very bottom. Figure out who wrote it and how that affects the document. The purpose. This is the most important part of happy analysis. Why is this document being written? Does it serve a purpose of being informative? Is it serve a purpose of being persuasive, to try to make people do something? What is the purpose of the primary source? And finally, why does it matter? Why do we care? How does this add to my own understanding of this era of history or this concept in class? How does this connect to other classes? Does this connect outside of history or government? Does it connect to language arts or science or health? How does this add to my understanding of the topic? Why do I care? That's a valid question to ask. So that's happy analysis, everybody. If you have any in-depth questions about this, by all means, email me, talk to me. We'll also go through an example so you can see how to do this with an actual primary source. I hope you found this presentation helpful. Thanks.